Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Rambling Through Everyday Life with Fran and Angela. My name is Fran, and I am one of the co-hosts for this podcast. Thank you always for listening. Sit back and enjoy the most fun, rambly conversation. We love you guys so much. Enjoy the show. All right, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Angela.
Hey, Fran. Here we are.
I need to acknowledge the fact that, well, I got to take my readers off because I'm not looking at anything and everything's blurry. But I have this thing going on in my voice, and I still feel like it's very deep.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
A DJ.
And Phoebe on Friends, remember when she was sick and she had her smelly cat raspy voice?
Yeah.
And then when she started getting better, she made sick people kiss her on the mouth and licked gross things.
No.
And she was trying so hard to get that voice back.
No.
The envy of all voices everywhere. And Fran has it, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, right before we left to go see Clay in Chicago, I thought, am I getting sick? Like I just felt like I was getting run down. And then the next day, the first morning in Chicago, this is what I woke up to, but I didn't feel bad. I've never felt bad.
You know, when I was younger, I thought that was the ideal situation because you could get the sympathy and not feel terrible.
And if I wanted to play sick, you would believe me because of how I sound. Mm-hmm. But because I felt fine and I was, showing up at work, I was like, I promise I'm not sick. But anyway, welcome to my voice on this podcast.
Welcome to the raspy Fran voice.
Anyway, here we are, everybody.
So we've talked on the podcast about Clay's big move. You finally got to go to Chicago.
Finally got to go. Just if you've never been to Chicago, I highly recommend it. I had a coworker once tell me that she loved it more than New York. And I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting because y'all know how I feel about New York. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, Clay lives and works in an area called Arlington Heights, which is north of Chicago. And it's its own suburb of 60,000 people. And there's lots of those areas around, like what you would think of downtown Chicago on Lake Michigan. So he's away from all that. He's in a lovely, lovely, lovely area. And so then this downtown Chicago, like when you think of the Riverwalk, when you've seen images of that, or Lake Michigan, that's what I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I was going to feel unsafe or...
Well, that's what comes to mind for me is... Are you safe there?
Oh, 100%. It is one of the cleanest cities I've ever been in.
That is not the image I have.
No.
And I've not been since junior high. Our youth group went to Chicago. That's the last time I've been.
It's phenomenal. It's one of the prettiest, well-kept, clean cities. The parks that they have are absolutely incredible. At least 3 times I was like, who's the mayor? Because this mayor is doing an outstanding job.
That's awesome.
It was absolutely beautiful. So if you want to go to a city that maybe you've never gone to before and not feel overwhelmed.
And it's an easy flight.
It's an easy flight. It was an easy flight for us. And it was just incredible. I gave it, I don't want to say a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Would it be good for a long weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay,
because they have Michigan Avenue, which is equivalent to Fifth Avenue of New York.
Okay.
So they're known for this strip of just all those incredible shops, incredible shopping. It was just gorgeous.
So from your perspective, I can't imagine Chip wanting to just, hey, let's go shopping. Maybe so, but what did each of you love about it? Like what do you recommend to do when we're there? Well,
you don't, I wouldn't go in the wintertime, clearly, but I think that, summer and fall is ideal because they don't have the heat and humidity that we have. And so it's just pleasant. So anything up and down the Riverwalk, it's easy to navigate walking around Lake Michigan, up and down. People run everywhere. It's just a very healthy, friendly city. We went to a Cubs game. We were thought about going to see the Bears play because they played the Titans that Sunday afternoon, and those tickets were a little bit more expensive than Cubs. So if you're a sports fan, there's always, the Bulls are there depending on the time of the year that you go. There's nothing for you to go, you're not going to go, I wonder what we should do. There's just so much to do.
It's hard to get your head around that when you live in West Tennessee, which I love.
Yeah, right.
But we're not usually going, oh, look at all these options.
Yeah. There's just so many different museums, art museums, history museums. There's just so much culture there. They have a theater district just like New York. It's just endless. It's very, very similar to New York, just on a much smaller, I guess, scale. Because New York, you got all those people condensed on such a small amount of space, which in Chicago, you have the very exact same things in a much, much more beautiful space, just very clean, and the flowers that are planted everywhere. You don't see that in New York. Anyway, it was fabulous. It was outstanding. It was great.
Okay, I love that it was clean. I love that it was safe.
Yep.
You're making me want to go. I had forgotten that Clay worked. I knew that Clay worked for United. I'd forgotten that Marie on the volleyball team, her mother works for United.
Yeah.
And they're in the Chicago area.
Yeah. They gave me all some great tips that was fun to explore some of that while we were there. And yeah, Marie's on the volleyball team. We texted Sunday or whatever day we came home because she was working that day. She works at O'Hare, the airport. If you work for United, you either work at O'Hare, you either work at Willis Tower, which a lot of people might remember as the Sears Tower. It's renamed the Willis Tower, or you work out in their operations center, which is where Clay works in Arlington, and she's at O'Hare. So we texted a lot on Sunday. And I don't know, let me just say this really quick. I think there's just something to be said for businesses, companies, organizations, and I don't care what scale we're talking about. I understand that United is a massive operation. I think they have 120,000 employees. It's a massive business. It's part of our industry, our travel industry. It's massive. I understand that. But when I went into his place of employment, I could not get over the quality of their space, how clean and well taken care of it is, what's offered to them as far as what to eat, where to eat. Their restrooms were spectacular.
Isn't that the standard?
It
When
should
somebody
be.
has a clean bathroom, you
It
just
should
feel
be.
good about being
It
there.
should be. And I think you really need to consider, are we being excellent in these areas? And again, if I understand they have the dollars to spend on it, but I think you need to consider, if my business has 4 people, 40 people, 400 people, I think you need to consider all of these things. What do I have to offer you as the employee and as a guest when you come into our space? Because I was just blown away. They have a gym they can work out in. The food that they have access to for meals is just incredible. I was like, oh my gosh. I kept saying to Clay, do you realize what a privilege and how lucky you are to work for an organization, a company that values you as the person and the space that you go to work every day? But again,
I love that.
I think it's just, everybody needs to just consider all the things, not just for your employees, but for when people come into your space.
Before we move on, I have a burning question about Chicago. You have not talked specifically about food.
Oh, golly.
I need to know what your favorite meal was, what you loved there. What did you eat there that you couldn't get here?
Well, where the part that was so fantastic is we ate at almost every meal. Every meal was on the Riverwalk. And you need to understand that on the Riverwalk, every restaurant has outdoor seating. So you're just...
That is my ultimate happy place.
And so it's restaurant after restaurant after restaurant after restaurant after restaurant.
Give me a patio and some good weather.
Yep. And it was just incredible. And I tell you, there was one place, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it doesn't matter because they're all fantastic. But we went up to order some food. And the lady the young girl that took our order, she goes, "Where are y'all from?"
Did she say y'all?
And we
or
said,
you guys?
She said, "Y'all."
Oh.
And we said, "Tennessee." And she said, "Well, where?" And Chip said, "Jackson." And she said, "Well, I'm from Savannah."
Stop it right now.
I know. We died.
How did she wind up there?
We got busy talking about where we were and what we were doing and totally skipped that part. So
it's like code when you go up north. You know, when we were in Boston at a restaurant, the guy came over and he said, "Where are y'all from?" Kind of like that. He went to UT.
I know, just
he was
crazy.
From Knoxville. But it's almost like code. They're like, okay, secret society.
I did ask Clay.
Normal.
I said, "Does everybody ask you where you're from?" And he said, "Oh yeah, all the time. They all know that I'm from the South."
They're laughing either outwardly or inwardly.
They love it. They find it so endearing.
We're charming to them. I love it.
I just thought it was incredible. I cannot say enough good things about it. I totally.
So you'll go back, obviously, because Clay's there. But if Clay was not there, you would go back.
Sure. The Navy Pier area is fantastic. I just cannot explain enough about how people bike, walk, run all up and down Lake Michigan and the Riverwalk too, for that matter. It's just incredible. It's just beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah, everybody go.
We've got a whole list of all the places y'all need to go. Boston, Chicago.
Yeah, and I would stay downtown. I would stay near the Riverwalk.
Okay.
If you go.
So
there's only, 19 million places to choose from, so.
I'm so happy to hear all of this because just what you see on the news just
and Kaylee would love a girls' weekend up there.
Okay.
But it has to be the right time of year.
Okay. I want a patio on a nice day.
Well, then you need to go in the month of September.
I don't want 12 feet of snow.
Me neither. No, me neither.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, so Rachel Mitchell was on with us recently. I ordered my BCAAs. They came in the mail yesterday. Do you ever, I came in with an armload of things. I'm always so excited when I get a package. I'm getting fewer packages lately. We'll talk about that in a minute. But this morning, I found where I had set the package on the kitchen counter, and then I turned around to put groceries away. So this morning, I was like, "Oh, it's like Santa came. I don't know what's here." And I opened it up, and I'd forgotten that I'd ordered the BCAAs because I forget what I order because I'm Dory when it comes to those things. So, the creatine, a lot of y'all have asked about BCAAs, creatine, things that Rachel mentioned. The creatine has been sold out. I need to check on that through Faster Way, the one she recommended, because my goal was to order the creatine and the BCAAs. Stand by for a report on the BCAAs. They don't have caffeine, but they're amino acids that give you energy. And I got the Orange Crush flavor. It's hard to go wrong in my world with orange. There's flavors I do not like, but that one I'm good with. But it mentioned on the box that it's good for pre-workout or post-workout to help with cravings.
Yeah.
And so many times I think I'm hungry when I'm not. Cravings? I hope so. So we're going to find out. Because I wake up thinking, "Oh, I need to go to McDonald's and get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit." And no, I really don't. No. There's a lot of food noise in my head. But anyway, we always love having Rachel on.
Yes.
So that was good. So this is going to be fun, Fran, because I make an outline just of things that I feel like we need to talk about on the podcast.
And sometimes, y'all, it's things that we briefly talked about and we're like, "Oh my God, we need to talk about this on the show." Or other times it's like, I have no idea what we're about to talk about.
Fran has no idea what we're about to talk about.
Okay.
Let me say that. This is the most random hodgepodge. When Fran and I box her each day, when something comes out of her mouth or mine that's ridiculous, or I'm like, "Okay, that's going in the note. We're gonna share that with all the people and get them involved in this."
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
So I told Fran when I boxered her this morning. Sometimes I wish we could play the boxers on the podcast,
because sometimes they are just gold.
So I woke up this morning and my boxer was, "Thank you, Fran," very excitedly. "Thank you, Fran, for making it okay for me to not be cute today."
Because it's a Saturday morning when we're doing this.
It has been raining. We've had rain from Hurricane Francine.
Hello, you're welcome, everyone. Francine has blown through.
So last night on TikTok, I found this woman who perfectly described the way I feel. Sometimes my phone hears me say things out loud, but this one, it's like she just read my mind, because sometimes, you hear things and you're like, this is exactly what I felt, but I had no idea that I needed to verbalize it in this way. So she is essentially saying, I went to church this morning. I got really cute. I came home and took a glorious nap. Now I'm in my pajamas and my glasses and a ponytail. And my husband had the audacity to say, I'm taking you to dinner tonight. Be ready at 6. And she said, I cannot do 2 cutes in one day.
No, you're 100%
I got cute
right.
this morning.
Yes.
I cannot get cute again this afternoon.
Nope.
And this morning, I had negative cutes in
have
me
zero
today.
cutes to give.
And I asked Kaylee earlier, I said, is this just me being 48 years old and working hard all week and just wanting to hide on the weekend? Is this a universal thing? She said, Mom, I think it's just hard to be a woman.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everybody.
Guys can roll out of bed.
Oh, I know. They don't
throw on a
care.
cap or not. Cole throws some water in his hair, scrubs it real hard with a towel. It flies gloriously in every direction, and he's out the door.
We have a whole situation going on from what are we going to wear? What does my hair look like? Am I going to have to put makeup on? All of that. What jewelry am I going to dang wear? Like, it's just constant.
It's hard to be cute.
It's hard to be cute. And it's glorious when you're like, today I literally don't have to be anywhere, do anything, see anybody, whatever it is.
I have had, and I'm so mad about this because I thought this was behind me. I had a pimple on my cheek that deserved its own zip code.
That's so ridiculous.
And the kids have those. Have you seen those little stars that you put on your pimples that have the medicine or whatever? You're welcome. I almost walked in here with a star sticker on my face. And I thought, in the spirit of not being cute, I at least can up the game a little bit.
This is so great.
I know. It's terrible.
Well, it's
Reached
kind
an
of
all-time
like,
low.
it's kind of like similar but different in that I've gone to the grocery store 9 million times over the course of my parenting adult life. I'm tired of it. I don't want to go. I don't even want to do pickup sometimes. I don't even want to consider what I got to put in the dang cart. I'm tired of it.
Yesterday, I went to Target, and it seems like I'm always there. They close for 30 minutes for lunch from like 1:30 to 2. And I never can remember that 30-minute window. I just know it's
who
weird.
Closes?
The whole entire pharmacy.
Oh,
not
I thought
the
you
store.
meant the store.
No, sorry. That may be what I said. But the pharmacy. So I go in the pharmacy.
Oh, darn.
They're closed. So then I go get a facial. And then I'm like, I'm not walking in anywhere looking like this.
Yeah.
So I called Cole. It's so fun to have a teenage driver. I sat outside because I thought I can't do curbside pharmacy. So Cole was my personal concierge yesterday.
This is great.
I was like, here's my, and then I'm thinking, can he get this prescription without, and then I'm texting him like, here's your dad's date of birth.
Yeah, right.
Like, how do can I do this?
Yeah.
He's not an adult.
We're about to try.
It worked.
Good.
Yeah. Whatever self-care looks like, ladies and gentlemen, that's just what we got to do these days.
I know.
Okay, so speaking of TikTok and things that I saw yesterday, and this is funny because...
Why are people so funny and brilliant and I have nothing to give?
But I watch them and I'm like, if I was a creator, that is what I would say.
Yeah,
like sometimes they're so spot on. I feel very seen.
Yeah.
And I love that validation. And sometimes I'm like, y'all are just crazy.
Like, I love it. I can't even, I know I'm not even going to describe this well, but when they show like the video of a cat and he's driving the car, like the getaway car. And it's just like, how do you even do that? I don't even know how you make that video. And then the funny music and the funny, the words. I'm like, y'all are incredible people. I'm sitting over here going, I got nothing. I'm not funny at all.
Well, let me tell you what I love. And this goes back to my days in the marching band, which Carl says I shouldn't talk about because I'm such a band nerd.
I think it's incredible.
I tell him that we were cool, and he says all band people think we were cool, but we really were. We were the JCM marching band.
I played the clarinet through middle school.
You did?
Remember? Yes.
Have we talked about this?
I don't know.
I played the clarinet, but I was so bad at it, and I'm so loud and bossy that I became the drum major.
Oh, no. I was very competitive, and I was going to either always be first or second chair, and not to toot my own horn.
Okay.
But I was always first or second chair.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I
Fran.
learned how to read music.
We should
and the piano.
We should duet.
Oh, God, y'all,
My
that would
poor
be
family.
horrendous.
We would be like Squidward.
I can
with his
still
little-
see my clarinet case,
Uh-huh.
the sound that it made when
Those
I would lock
reeds
it.
on your
Oh,
lip.
God, yes.
Uh-huh.
My band directors, our band room, all of it.
I wonder how many listening were in the band. Do you have band memories? Okay, so I love, and I think it's from marching in the parades and on the field, I love nothing more than a drum line. To hear a
Oh,
drum line
yes.
when we go to a parade, like, I
Yes.
just can stand there for
Yes.
hours. When we go to a
Yes.
Grizzlies game
Yes.
and they're playing the drums, my family has to drag me away. So something popped up on TikTok and I was so drawn into it. And now I'm like, I want to go follow every drum line everywhere. And this was not even a drum line, but this was, and they're at the University of, is it, I don't think it's North Alabama. It's in Montgomery, so it wouldn't be.
Wow.
I'm geographically challenged. I think it's University of South Alabama.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. But this guy's name is Justin Heidman,
Okay.
and his nickname is Vanilla Funk,
Okay, yes.
like Vanilla Ice. But
Yeah.
he is the drum major. And y'all, this guy, he reminds me, you know, when you watch a young Justin Timberlake and you're just so drawn in to just the charisma and the ability to, my body does not move this way or any kind of similar way. So I just have been, and they are, when there's a drum major, I never did. Let me back up and say, as drum major, I never did any of these things.
Oh, I wish you would have.
Oh my goodness. We had a Robin Hood show and we were dressed like Lady Miriam. And I was so offended that they told me I was not loud enough and I had to use a whistle. I was like, nobody has ever in my life told me I'm not loud enough. But anyway, if you like this kind of thing, and we could even share one in stories, but he is just so captivating. And it's funny because when you type in Vanilla Funk, we're all so nosy. Like what immediately pops up is, does Vanilla Funk have a girlfriend?
Gosh.
So everybody, and he really is cute, but apparently the Alabama State Marching Band, so it's not South Alabama, I'm making things up, but it's Alabama State University, and y'all, they are just,
It's so fun.
and I've seen on, and this may be what led to it, I've seen on TikTok people posting about, hey,
Yeah,
you know.
hang on just a second. In my search bar, when I type in Vanilla Funk, it says Vanilla Funk girlfriend name. So clearly, I wonder if that's like people search that a lot.
They are. They are. It's, does he have a girlfriend and what's her name? Like, we,
but
we're
here,
the nosiest
a little
society.
bit down the line is Vanilla Funk girlfriend breakup.
So we got some drama.
Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Well, pull up one of him dancing. I mean, he is
Yeah.
just,
His name is, Justin Heidemann.
and they're not that far. So, Fran, I think we should go to Alabama and find us
I
a
think
parade.
we are officially on assignment, you all.
We're gonna go on location.
He also has an Instagram.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm saying but I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says, I don't know if I want to read this. Just kidding. I'm not going to hear it. Never mind.
But it's so funny the things that you can get sucked into with TikTok and scrolling. And now every time I get on there, it makes me happy because it's constantly.
I wish that I could play a video for y'all right now.
I know.
But you can't see it or hear it. So
I know.
forget it.
We'll put it in stories.
Okay. Yeah. We'll share
Anyway.
one in stories.
Okay, so one of the things, well, first of all, again, this is just the most random hodgepodge. There's no rhyme or reason to this, but I think after the last episode where we talked about the Gen X stuff, I was thinking about, growing up and memories from childhood, and some of that was popping up. And I think my sister actually sent me this. It says, some of you have never experienced the glee of sitting in the rear-facing seat of a station wagon.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah. I remember it.
You remember that? I can remember 6th grade in the back with my best friend. And my mother was such a genius because she would put us back there and we would spill our guts about everything like nobody could hear us and there was nobody else in the car.
You felt so far away.
She got all the scoop
Mm-hmm.
and we never even knew it.
And listen, that's still happening today. Shove them in the car. Act like you're not listening and they'll start talking.
They'll tell everything, especially at night.
Our station wagon was a wood grain panel station wagon. It was yellowish.
Was it creamy yellow with wood panels? That's what we had.
Looky there.
Oh my gosh. And then we had the van. the big red van.
We didn't have a van.
And it had a VCR. I remember watching The Little Mermaid in the van, leaving probably band practice at Tigert Junior High School. And I thought, my family has arrived.
Now
We
those
a
vans
big
are
deal.
creepy.
They're so creepy. But man, back then it was like,
Oh, yeah.
are we rich?
Yeah.
I can remember thinking, man,
Yeah.
we're watching a movie.
I know.
Driving down the road.
I know.
But those back seats. And it had that
Well,
big
we
door
also,
that-
that was a time when there was no seatbelts in use.
No.
That still blows my mind that we threw people ourselves. Like,
Uh-huh.
I remember when seatbelts became like a law, and it was after I'd been driving.
It was controversial.
It was. We were talking the other day about smoking and non-smoking restaurants. Was this
Yes.
conversation with you or somebody else?
I don't know.
No,
but
this was with
it blows
I
my
think-
mind.
I think this was with Amy Eads and a girl named Emily. We all worked together, and Emily's like, I could be her mother. She's very young, so she doesn't even have any context of what's being talked about because this means nothing to her. And I said, I remember like thinking I don't know why Cracker Barrel pops into my mind when I think about smoking
I
restaurants.
think about po folks.
But you're like, we would walk into Cracker
Mhm.
Barrel and they'd be like, how many
Smoking or not?
smoking or non-smoking? And then there's nothing separating you.
No.
That smoke is just billowing over the top of that half wall,
It's so gross. And
Oh
now
my
that I'm
gosh.
never around it, I think we were kind of desensitized
Yeah.
back then, but now that I'm never around it,
Yeah.
it burns your nose
I
when you're
know.
just around somebody that
I know. Anyway, I don't know what made me think about that.
it's just a different time.
No seatbelts
It's a
and
different
smoking
time.
or non-smoking restaurants.
Okay, so another thing we talked about, and I want to hear a Fran in the neighborhood update. You're still in your tiny house.
Yes. When does this episode release?
This comes out September 23rd. Are you moving?
Well, by that time, let me tell you, everybody, we're recording this on a Saturday. This time next Saturday, Angela, we're moving again.
Hallelujah.
Is it hallelujah? Because right now I want to permanently buy a house and not
Yeah.
be leasing a house. So y'all may or may not remember that we are currently in a 2-bedroom home. And because they didn't have a 3-bedroom available, but that 3-bedroom has become available. So in a couple of days, we will have actual access to it and can start moving things over to the 3-bedroom. And then next Saturday, a moving truck comes. We have to go get a few things out of storage. Remember that storage unit that we have that is just chock full of things. So we got to go get a couple of pieces of furniture out of that, and we move into a glorious 3-bedroom
Woo-hoo.
temporary home.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to miss. I hope your new street is as entertaining as the current one, because I wish we could replay the Voxer that you sent me where your neighbor was working on his car.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to protect the identities of the innocent.
Here's, speaking of, okay, let's tie this in with, remember how we get older and we don't care?
Yes, I think
Mhm.
I'm approaching that quickly.
So I'm leaving for work one day, and I have to slow down and stop at the gate because this is a little gated neighborhood, and so right there is close nearby on my way out.
Within feet of you.
Is this older man. He has to be in his 70s, has to be mid to late 70s, and you can picture this. We can all picture this. And so he's got the hood up on his car and he's wanting to work on his car, and he's got white hair that is literally just all over the place, like a mad scientist man look.
Like in Back to the Future.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Just white hair everywhere, and he's got on some boxers
And no pants.
and no pants. And like a walker that has like the seat, and he's wanting to work on his car. And I was just kind of like I was so torn between I'm traumatized and don't look.
Can't not look.
Cannot look. But then again, it was like, more power to you, buddy, for wanting to be out there.
There's some freedom in the morning air.
Yeah, he didn't care, y'all. He did not care. And so now, unfortunately, every single time I drive by this house, I have that flashback
You're
memory.
looking for him.
I'm looking for him. But it was part of me was like, yay for you. And then other part of me was like, oh my God, get him inside.
Yay for all of us, because no matter where you live in this neighborhood, you will continue to drive by his house.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I will until there's another entrance. And it looks like one day there will be a second entrance, but I hope I'm not around to actually participate in that second entrance. But then again, I wish I was going to be around.
Oh my goodness.
I know. He doesn't care anymore, Angela. Just like you don't care. He has zero cutes.
That's right. He had zero cutes. I had a star sticker on my face and didn't care about it. Okay, so I told you.
And I just also pictured, like, I don't know if I'm making this up or if this was actually real, that maybe a spouse was out there in her button-up nightgown. What do you call
duster?
The whole
house coat.
A house coat. The whole scene. It had flowers on it.
Oh,
I'm sure she was standing there with a coffee mug. This was early in the morning, y'all. This was early. Okay, anyway.
Your life brings me so much joy, and I'm sure the listeners agree. Okay, and I declared you the coach of moving last time because after all Fran went through, we've decided like she's not the one to come box up your things.
No, I don't want to do that part.
But she's full of the questions to ask and the wisdom to impart.
Yes.
So one of the, I've heard of the Marie Kondo method for years where you pull everything out of your closet. Does this bring joy? If it doesn't bring joy, pass it on to bless somebody else. Put it out there for the world to enjoy. So somebody posted, the Marie Kondo does this spark joy method of decluttering never worked for me, but an ADHD TikToker just changed my entire life by introducing the poop rule. If this object had poop on it, would you wash it off or throw it away? That
gives me chills right here and now.
This is a low-level goal.
Yes.
But okay, so while we're in the deep in the cesspool of terrible, we're going to talk about my Labor Day weekend because I told everybody I was doing my taxes.
And you were.
And I was.
However,
nothing I don't know if I have ADHD or if I just procrastinate and don't like to do hard things.
All the above.
They're both probably valid. But whenever you give me a hard thing to do, and I knew that was my only task that weekend, I immediately tried to find and jump into every project that I'd been putting off for weeks, months, and years. Then I had a helper because the Friday night, when you have a teenage driver, no matter how tired you are, you cannot go to sleep in your bed until you know they are home. It was one of those 10:30 at night. I'd probably had 3 naps already on the couch. Could not hold my eyeballs open any longer. I'm starting to drift off. I'm watching something on Netflix, and out of the corner of my eye, near my feet, on the couch, I catch a glimpse of something that moved.
I can't even.
I was paralyzed in fear because somewhere in my subconsciousness, I knew what was happening. But it was like those Scooby-Doo cartoons where like the top half is stationary and the bottom half is like a wheel, like their legs are spinning so fast, but they're not moving. I realized a mouse had come through like the in-between parts of my sectional sofa. My couch is my happy place. This mouse had made it onto the couch. We had eye contact, had a absolute moment in time that I will never forget.
Up and down my back.
And I screamed a blood-curdling scream. My poor husband came in there thinking somebody had kidnapped me and was preparing to murder me in that moment. And it was like, it's just a mouse. I was like, you don't understand. We're going to burn the house down.
There's a difference in a mouse. Well, I think there's a difference in a mouse running across the floor.
Yes.
In open space.
He was on my furniture.
He was in your furniture.
What in the world?
He had a condo set up somewhere.
That mouse was way too full of himself. No, sir. So,
and unfortunately, this began at what time?
This is Friday night.
Yes.
Around 10:30 p.m.
Not 10 a.m. on Saturday.
So, this couch, this spot of mine is my happy place. It's where I begin my day. It's where I end my day. more than anything, when we redid our house a few years ago, I searched high and low for the perfect sectional sofa. This was it in my mind, and it has now been ruined by this critter.
It's now been set on fire, everyone.
So the next morning, Carl was so tickled at me because he was like, I promise it's fine. You have screamed and scared this mouse into the next county over.
I don't know. I don't know, though. I don't know.
We had traps set every 2 feet. I had every cushion pulled off the couch. I read my Bible and had my quiet time perched on my weight bench because there was nowhere for a mouse to hide anywhere near me. I was scared to get in the recliner. I was scared to sit on the couch. I had a bar stool or a weight bench. Like, I was trying to figure out in my brain. It's almost like the floor is lava when you're just trying to not be anywhere. So y'all, the next day I wake up at 6:30 a.m. Keep in mind, I'm supposed to be doing my taxes, but between 6:30 a.m. and maybe 2:00 p.m., my Apple Watch told the tale. I had 15,000 steps. 7.5 miles were walked by me that day.
In your house?
In my house. I never put on shoes. I never changed out of my pajamas. And my teenage son took 4 truckloads of things to Goodwill or to the dump. Literally, I tackled every closet, every drawer. I was like an insane person.
Was it because I need to find this mouse, or?
I just lost my mind. All of a sudden, it felt like everything was gross and dirty and everything must go. And in the back of my mind, when you started this purging, moving, considering, why do I have all this stuff? I knew it needed to happen in my home. We've lived there, I don't know, 20 years. But I was not motivated.
Yeah.
I have been motivated by a mouse.
Here we go, people.
Rest in peace, mouse.
Yes.
He has since been captured, killed, and will never live in my couch again. And all the cats are fired.
Right. They did not do their job.
No. There are traps everywhere. Allison Butler told me about these things that plug into the wall that make this really high-pitched noise that are supposedly keeping them away. I've got one in every outlet. Like, I have been so grossed out. But, oh my goodness. It was a heck of a way. And I did get my taxes done.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted. I spent the whole next day going, there's no mouse here anymore. I don't mind doing my taxes now. But it also reminded me of when y'all had the snake in your house.
Oh, yeah. Baby copperhead at the bottom of our stairs.
And when there's a baby, there's a mama somewhere.
I know.
Just that feeling of.
I know. They're everywhere. You think that.
You think they're everywhere. It's crazy. It's crazy. But in the midst of all this, so I'm going through things and I'm steadily sending Fran Boxers going, what do I do with all my old journals? What do I do with these 32,000 books that I have? Why do I keep buying books about a spiritual discipline instead of just doing the spiritual discipline? So a whole lot of wonderful books are at the local Goodwill if anybody's interested.
It's okay. It's okay to let it go.
Oh, my goodness.
It's okay. But you did come up with a system of, I'm just going to keep this many.
Yes.
I'm not going to let it all go. Some of this has got some value to it, but maybe I don't need 23. I can have 3.
Oh my goodness. And it's so weird when it's like Bibles.
I know.
Because, I know. And I'm thinking there's people that don't even own a Bible that would love to have one.
Right.
But I gave myself one shelf for Bibles. And I asked Fran, I was like, okay, I have all these commentaries. I almost said concordances. I have all these commentaries, and Fran was so wise. She was like, pick 1 or 2, get rid of the rest, because I do everything on my phone.
Yeah, I know.
But I gave myself a shelf for Christian, fiction, nonfiction. It was like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And it was so fun going back through and finding fun things that have been buried under all the random things.
Well, you got organized.
I sure did.
And we're going to do, but we won't. We're going to do a quarterly checkup.
Yes.
But we won't.
Because, the other important piece of this is Fran put me on spending probation.
Yeah, that's real.
I found so many things that had never even been opened or used, because in the moment I thought, well, this sounds like a wonderful way to make a memory with my family, or this sounds like a wonderful way to improve my life, and I should just do the thing and not have the book or the...
Well, you like to support people, help yourself, have things to give people, and you've created this, I don't know if chaos, but
that's absolutely, with all capital letters. CHAOS, all caps. My home office could not. I wish I had a picture. Y'all would die over. It looked like hoarders because everything just got stuck in this room because we had too much stuff.
Yeah.
And not enough time to consider what is its purpose
Yeah.
and where should it live.
But now I want you to consider that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that I need to have forever?
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, do I need to buy this? Because it's actually something that I'm going to give to someone in this very moment.
I don't need to buy any more rolls of Scotch tape. I think I had 32 of them. I mean, it's just like every time there's something, here comes Christmas. Let me go buy some tape and scissors. I had 32 pairs of scissors.
I know.
Anyway. And you have a good system for storing important papers.
Yes. So I don't like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Like an expandable file?
Expandable, not accordion.
Accordion file.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of flat, but it opens up and it's got all these little pockets. And so we have all of our important papers, Angela, which is what you need to do.
I need to do that because in my dining room drawer, there was a car title. And in the office drawer, there was an insurance policy.
I was having anxiety listening to her tell me all these things because I'm like, why are they here, there, and everywhere?
And let me say, if you're one of my clients listening, I take a wonderful care of my clients.
Yeah, and
I'm
that's
just not
probably
a good person.
You're exhausted because you do it so well there. I can't do it well everywhere, people.
I can't be perfect everywhere.
No,
I have to let myself go.
But your important papers, all those licenses, your passports, all that stuff, whatever is important that needs to be kept together, you just put it in that little file folder. All of my children know what that thing is.
That's so good. And you know what I noticed, since then when I got really organized, I got ready for work and I thought, what earrings would I like to wear? And then I was like, I don't even like these. So it's like, okay, then why are they here? They are taking up space.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better. I'm a work in progress.
I'm proud of you.
I'm getting there. Okay. I also have this in the note, and we can't move on without talking about this. And
this may be the last thing we talk about. This is long. Y'all, we're so sorry.
Oh, so sorry. This ties in with the man with the no pants.
Oh, gosh.
But you had a prayer time in a situation.
I did.
With your pants. And
oh,
it was
y'all.
so funny. You were like,
okay,
let's
really talk about this kind of quickly because I'm so curious. This will be a poll. We'll put this up in stories. So at school, I work at a university. So our president, he wants us to gather as a community. It's a small community. We come together on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. to pray for the university. So I roll up in here literally coming in hot on two wheels at 6:59 and a half, and I'm running in.
Angela time. You're on Angela time.
And so I didn't love what I had on that day. It's early when you've got to be somewhere at 7 a.m. Like it's interesting how all of a sudden you're like, I don't know what I'm going to wear. I'm not a great planner at that. I'm not that person. But I didn't love what I had on. I'm not thinking anything about it other than I don't love what I have on. So we sit down in the room and everybody prays. Okay. So everybody's going to go around in this order where you're seated and you're going to pray. And so when it's that type of concept, I'm not closing my eyes, y'all. I'm not closing my eyes because
why is that?
I don't know. I'm just not. I feel like I am actually better focused when my eyes are open because I can think. I don't know, y'all. It's just
I've never even thought about it.
It's just how I do
both. And then I almost am like, oh, am I supposed to have my eyes open?
Well, listen, I felt like don't see me because I've got my eyes open because everybody else has theirs closed. So because my eyes are open, I'm attentive, I'm observant, I'm paying attention to what people are saying, but I'm also paying attention to what in the Sam heck I have on. So I'm sitting there and I've got on these black pants and y'all, it was like I had taken beverages or food and literally poured them on my lap, like both legs. I'm like, what did I eat spaghetti off my lap last week and I don't remember it? Because that's what it looked like. And so I'm sitting next to our president who would never walk out the door in anything other than perfection because that's just how he looks, dresses. And so I do too, but also that morning I wore my spaghetti pants, I
I've
guess.
never looked at you and thought, Fran looks like she rolled around in spaghetti.
Well, that day I did. So I'm sitting there in this serious moment of prayer using hands to cover up my legs that
that's the
nobody can
worst.
see because their eyes are closed, y'all. They're praying. And then I would cross my legs and rearrange in case someone is staring at my pants when they're not over prayer. And I was just mortified. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I have on today? And needless to say, when prayer time was over, I wasn't friendly with anyone. I was like, I got to go, y'all.
I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. I'm going home to change clothes and figure out what the heck do I wash these pants? Do I take them to the dry cleaners? I don't know what's happened to them. I did wash them. Everything came out fine.
Everything's fine.
But I was like, lesson, y'all. Well, not a lesson. Question and a lesson. Make sure your clothes are clean.
Yeah.
And then my question is, do you pray with your eyes open or closed?
I'm going to have to pay attention.
Long prayers. And this is specific to longer prayers in a group
when
setting.
I'm walking and praying,
But yeah, of course.
I dare not close my
Right.
eyes because I'm such a klutz.
Right.
But
in a group prayer where there's lots of, and that may not be, I know that doesn't happen a lot for people. It's just in the context of where I work, and we have lots of opportunity where we're praying in groups. And so I've just noticed that I pray with my eyes open.
well, and if prayer is a conversation with God,
It's okay.
why would we feel like we had to close our
I know.
eyes?
Is this in the Bible somewhere and I don't know it?
Well, I know growing up Catholic, it was almost like a sign of disrespect. Like it was that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I was ever told that or just the
Mhm.
impression of, oh, this
Mhm.
is a holy moment, close your eyes.
Yeah.
And, you know, you hear people say, close your eyes and let's pray. And maybe it's to not be distracted.
Yeah. I don't
know where it comes from.
I do better with my eyes
But
open.
we should never feel like we're doing something wrong.
Yeah. No.
If,
You might pay attention and realize that your pants have sat in
Yeah.
spaghetti or something.
or sometimes, like, you know, I learned from Angela Cottrell, you know, sometimes she'll be like, oh, I need to, you know, she's like ongoing,
Mhm,
engaging in
mhm.
dialogue really
Active
with the Lord,
listening and-
active listening and
mhm.
jotting things down and
Mhm.
coming back to say, you know, the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit just impressed this on me. Let me
Right.
pray this back or this verse or
Yeah.
It's very
Okay.
interesting.
Well,
Okay.
welcome to another episode of Rambling.
Give us something spiritual to wrap all
Give us
this
something
up.
spiritual. Listen, I've been thinking this is really stemming from Rachel Mitchell, and the verse that she shared with us that day was Galatians 6:9 that says, do not grow weary in doing good, because at a proper time you will reap a harvest. And because of our involvement with volleyball and talking so much about growth, y'all know that. The part that I'm really been sitting in for a little bit is don't grow weary, because it's really hard to stay energetic, excited, even hopeful.
Mhm.
It's easy to grow weary because it just is. It's hard to endure. It's hard to persevere through a season of growth, through a season of where you're hoping to bear fruit. Sometimes it's quick, but I think most times it's not. And it's just very, very easy to grow weary. So I just encourage all of us to just keep leaning into the Lord and letting Him be sovereign over the situation. You're not supposed to carry it all by yourself. And it is okay if you do get weary, but also recognize that that's not a place I want to stay. I want to let the Holy Spirit fuel me and equip me and encourage me and inspire me through His word, through other people, just to keep going.
That's
Keep
such
going.
a word. Such a word.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, everybody. Have a great, fantastic day, week, all the things. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.